Good morning, yogis. It's about time for us to get started together. I hope that you're doing well. It's Saturday, June 20th, and we're getting into our 14th week since we have been sequestered. Some of us have been getting out a little bit more, but it's a time that we especially need to be careful. As we can see around the country, there are spikes that are coming up in other places. And so we have a long road to go still. I hope you've been staying safe and staying well. Some of us find that this time where we are spending time away from our normal activities, and moving into what we refer to as a new normal, have been finding this to be a time to really step back and to take an assessment of what we've been doing with our lives and how things have been and how we want to change as we move forward. Others of us may find this to be quite difficult being away. So we all each deal with it in different ways. And either way, the practice of yoga is, I think, very helpful during this time. Not only in keeping ourselves fit, but also in keeping ourselves sane in these times. So let's begin with our breath. Make sure that you're seated comfortably and begin to deepen your breath. You can start with an exhale, pushing all the old air out and drawing the navel in towards your spine, noticing how that pushes air out of the lungs. And then slowly drawing the breath in. And we can breathe in what is referred to as three parts, the three-part breath. The first part is in the navel center. As we breathe in, the navel expands out. And this is expanding out because as our diaphragm draws down, we have to create space in the body so that the lungs can expand. The diaphragm draws down, the navel extends out. And then we begin to move into the sides. Imagine that you're expanding the sides out away from you. That's the second part. And then the third part, we want to bring it up into the upper chest, up into around the collarbone. So imagine you're filling yourself up completely, starting from the base or the lower part of the lungs as you expand the navel out, and then drawing it into the center, imagine as if you're expanding out in your sides, and then finally drawing up all the way up into the top. And then again, slowly expanding or drawing the navel in and pushing the old air out again. Just this simple breathing exercise, balancing the inhale and exhale, is a very nice thing for us to do. During the day, in the evening, in the morning, just this itself can be very calming to bring you to a calm state, to begin to slow down the nervous system, to bring you into a state of equilibrium. Cultivating this idea of breath awareness. You might notice that whenever you are keeping at least some part of your attention in the awareness of your breath, it draws you away from being lost in the waking dream of thoughts and brings us into the present moment. In the present moment, we feel the sensations of the body. Perhaps the life energy in the body, the aliveness of the body, being alive. And we can also see the surroundings around us, to be more aware of our surroundings and the quality of those surroundings around us. You could say that this state of being in the now, a state of mindfulness meaning that we're not lost in the mind, mindfulness meaning that we are mindful, that our attention, we are perceiving everything around us, the breath, the sensations of the body, the senses, the surroundings, even what the mind is doing itself. And from there we can decide whether what the mind is doing, whether it's helpful to our well-being or whether it's not. The state of mind affects the condition of our body. And if we're always in a state of anxiety and worry or fear, then the state of mind has a deleterious effect on the health of the body. One way it's described is that a state of unease in the body over time becomes a state of disease in the body. And this leads to what can be referred to as psychosomatic illnesses. The mind creating illness in the physical body. You could say then that a mind that is ill creates a body that's ill. And therefore, working with our breath is the foundation of good health in many aspects, as I just described. And so, as I just said earlier, spending a few minutes every day doing just this can do a world of good for you. And it's so easy to do. You could say that there's very little effort to it. It's only a matter of taking the time. So let's begin to move. Starting with our arms at our sides, extend up as you breathe in and stretch. And exhale. Move gracefully and smoothly. And notice the enjoyment that you can feel when you move this way. It's pleasant and enjoyable. Let's extend the right arm up and begin to bend now to the left. And to the right side. I like to think that whenever there's something that is enjoyable, there's no reason to hurry through it, is there? If we're presented with a beautiful gourmet meal, does it make sense to wolf this meal down and get up and move on with something else, to hurry through it? Or is it better to leisurely take the time to enjoy it? And our practice, our asana practice in itself, should be thought of in the same way, that this is something, let's begin to twist now, that this is something that we're doing physically with the intention of creating enjoyment. This is a little bit different than if we're involved in some kind of competitive thing. You know, there can be some enjoyment in being competitive, depending on how it's done. And yet, at least for me, taking something in a competitive way very seriously can not be enjoyable if it's not practiced. Let's bring our palms together at the heart center, and let's take 3 ohms as we begin. Draw the breath in. Om. Om. From here, we'll move onto our hands and knees, centering on your mat in 4 points. The 4 points are the 2 hands and the 2 legs, the knees and the palms in 4 points. Draw the breath in, and as you exhale, let's move back into our child's pose. Again, moving slowly, gracefully, and moving in such a way that we are creating enjoyment. One aspect of creating enjoyment is relieving ourselves of pain. Isn't it? Moving from one place to another. From a condition of a kind of suffering to a less suffering, and perhaps no suffering. And finally, let's come into our child's pose and remain. And let go with each exhale. Here we can witness the any stiffness that you feel in the body. And we'll come back to it later and notice if there's less. You could call the stiffness a kind of suffering. Let's come up onto our hands and knees, and we'll tuck the toes under to move into downward facing dog. As you exhale, reach your bottom away and lengthen your spine. And as you breathe in, begin to lower your knees towards your mat. See if you can just almost touch the mat, and then move back into downward facing dog. Notice that with each cycle, there's a little bit less stiffness. And with each cycle, perhaps the shape, the downward facing dog, feels easier to move into and deepens. This is a fundamental aspect of what we're doing in this sort of practice, to move in and out of our shapes and to finally remain. So here we'll remain in the down dog for a few breaths. Observe your breath. Notice if you're exhaling completely. Lowering back onto the knees, we'll step the right foot in between the hands, leaving the left knee on the floor. As you draw the breath in, extend the crown of your head away. Imagine you're lengthening the spine in doing this, feeling a release in the hip joint. And as you exhale, slowly move back, lifting the ball of the right foot off the floor and pressing it away, coming into the hurdler shape. And as we draw the breath in, let's move forward. And so as we move, again, keep your attention on moving slowly and gracefully, and also the enjoyment. Is there enjoyment? Do you feel a sort of enjoyment in what it is that you're doing? One way to think about it is that there should be joy in the things that we do. If there's no joy, then how is it that we have to force ourselves to do something that is actually good for us? There's no joy in it. Let's come forward, tucking the left foot under, raise the knee off the floor and straighten your left leg into the low lunge. And let's step back into our downward facing dog. Lowering once more onto the knees. This time the left foot steps forward. And we'll begin to move in a moment just as we did a moment ago. As you draw the breath in, extend the crown of the head away, as if you're trying to reach it away. And then slowly move back into the hurdler shape, this time lifting the ball of the left foot off the floor, pressing it away. And let's continue. Again, observing with each cycle whether there's a little bit of stiffness that's dissipating. This thing that we call stretching, better to think of it as dissipating stiffness, releasing stiffness. Moving forward, we'll tuck the right foot under and lift the knee off the floor into our low lunge. And let's step back into our downward facing dog once more. See if you can take your right hand off the floor and place your hand on your belly. So there's only one arm that's supporting us here. Let's try the other one. If this is not, if you're not able to hold yourself this way, it's fine. And let's come back into our downward facing dog. Come forward into plank and straighten your body. From here, we're going to place the right forearm on the floor and then the left into a forearm plank. Then we'll come back up into our plank with the right hand and the left hand. Let's try it with the other cycle. The left forearm, the right, the left hand, and the right hand. And repeat. Right arm, right hand, left forearm, left hand, right hand. Press back into down dog. Preparing to come into side plank, bringing your legs together. You can put the right knee on the floor to support or keep the legs extended, turning to your left and extending the left arm up. Our side plank. Let's extend the left arm and bend the side body and hold for a moment. Breathing deeply into the left side body. Moving back into the downward facing dog. And I'll just switch my position so I can be facing you as we prepare to come into the side plank on the other side. So we come into our plank. Here the left knee can be on the floor or the legs together, turning to the right, extending the right arm up. And then extend it away and bend the side body and hold for a moment. And let's come back into our downward facing dog. Lowering down onto the knees, rise up, kneeling. We'll take the arms up as we draw the breath in and slowly come down into the child's pose. And then see if you can rise back up. Let's repeat. Good. One more cycle. Coming down into 4 points, we'll press back into down dog. Move into your plank and lower down onto your mat. Point your toes and rise up onto your forearms. Tuck the pelvis under, tuck it under and hold it there. And as you draw the breath in, lift the chest and bend the right knee, flexing the heel. Releasing as you exhale, and then the other side. Let's bend both knees. Once more. Next, preparing for cobra, lower yourself down, squeeze your legs together, point the toes, hands on either side of your chest, elbows drawing in against your sides, rise up into cobra. Exhale as you lower. Again, reminding ourselves to be moving with slow and steady and smooth movements. And let's come into our cobra gently and stay, breathing into the heart center. Lowering down, let's move into our child's pose. Come up onto your hands and knees and sit back into your child's pose. Now we can bring our attention, compare. Is there less stiffness in the body than before? Notice for yourself. Firmly drawing the navel in towards your spine as you exhale. Let's come up onto our hands and knees. Here we'll tuck the toes under. Move your hands back to either side of your knees. And then rock the knees off the floor, lifting your heels. We'll stay here for a moment. You can either remain with your hands on the floor to help with your balance, or you can try reaching the arms away. Let's place the hands down. Lower your heels. Make sure that your knees are bent enough so you can feel your waist against your thighs. Firmly draw your navel in toward your spine as you exhale and squeeze your ankles toward each other. A forward bend. And as you remain here, you can take your hands, if you wish, and put them on opposite elbows, and just maybe sway a little bit slowly side to side. And enjoy the sensation of the spine lengthening simply by letting go. From here, we'll place our fingertips on the floor, bend the knees, and prepare for chair. Rising into chair as you draw the breath in. Lowering as you exhale. Let's remain in chair for a few breaths. Rising up and lowering your arms. Standing in mountain Tadasana. Take a moment to notice how you feel. Let's straddle. You may be straddling your mat, the legs wide apart. Look at your feet, make sure that they're parallel and not turned outwards. Bend your knees, take your hands behind your thighs, and let's slide them down the back of the legs to fold forward. And then we'll take the right knee and bend it, straighten the left leg, and let yourself fold to one side. Notice that here you'll feel a release on the inner thigh in that left leg. And it should feel enjoyable. You could say that the edge that we move toward is where the enjoyment becomes not enjoyment. Right at that edge where it still remains enjoyable. Letting go with each exhale, releasing tension. And let's move to the other side. Now we can feel the release on the right inner thigh. Back to the center. Walk your fingertips a little bit forward and lift your chest so that the spine is horizontal. And as you draw the breath in, take your right arm and reach it up. As you exhale, we're going to reach the arm away so it comes next to your ear. And then up again and lowering down. Now the other side. Up as you breathe in. Exhale as you reach it away. Inhale as it comes up. Exhale and lower down. Let's repeat this. And the other side. After lowering the arm, let's fold forward again. And let yourself release. Again, come up into the half bend. And this time, see if you can reach your arms directly back behind you. holding for a moment, and then rising up. Notice how you feel. Extend the arms apart, bend the right knee, and turn to your right to bring the opposite hand down into a twist. And as you breathe in, rise up out of it. And we'll continue on the same side. Are you moving smoothly and gracefully, slowly, enjoying the movement in itself? Noticing with each cycle, it feels easier to come into this shape. Let's take one more cycle. And now to the other side, bending the left knee, turning to the other side. And we'll continue on this side. Once more. Proceeding back to the first side, we stay. Remain. Turn your gaze toward the sky. And as you breathe in, broaden your shoulders, extend the crown of the head away. And as you exhale, draw your navel in and twist it in the direction of your turn. As you remain, notice if you feel trembling. Smooth your breath out. Move towards stillness and ease. Let's rise up. We'll take a moment here. You can close your eyes if you wish, and with each exhale, let go. How does it feel to let go? Is the mind, in fact, becoming less ill, as I described earlier? More peaceful? Notice for yourself. Let's go to the other side. And we'll remain here. As you breathe in, broaden the shoulders, extend the crown of the head away. And as you exhale, draw the navel in and twist it in the direction of your turn. Let's rise up and lower your arms. Take a moment here. Let's come to the front of our mat to prepare for a sun salutation. Make sure your feet are parallel, standing in mountain. Draw the breath in, let the arms float up. And as you exhale, soften your knees and fold forward. Rise into your half bend as you breathe in, and step back into down dog as you exhale. Raise your right leg off the floor,
Bend the knee and try to turn it up toward the sky. Reach away and lengthen your spine. Draw the breath in, and as you exhale, draw your knee into your chest and quietly step between your hands. Moving into the low lunge, and we'll prepare for Warrior One. Pivoting the left heel, rise up into Warrior One, extending the arms. As you exhale, lower the arms and straighten your leg. Inhale, up, moving into pyramid. Reach away, lengthen, fold into pyramid. Rise into Warrior One. Move out of it as you exhale. Repeat the cycle. Very good. On this cycle, we'll come into our Warrior One and remain. With each exhale, draw the navel firmly in toward the spine. And as you breathe in, expand your chest. Breathe into the heart center. Lowering the arms and straightening the leg. Prepare to move into pyramid and remain there. And stay. Stillness and ease. Enjoyment. Let's step back into our downward facing dog. Now, lifting the left leg, bend the knee and turn it toward the sky. Hold for a moment. Draw the knee into your chest and quietly step between your hands. Pivoting the right heel, rise into Warrior One as you draw the breath in. Lower the arms, straighten the leg as you exhale. Move into pyramid. Into Warrior One. Exhale out. Continue. Let's remain in Warrior One now. Virabhadrasana 1. Moving out, prepare for pyramid. And let's remain here. Stepping back into downward facing dog. Move into plank or choose half plank with your knees on the floor as you breathe in, and as you exhale, forelimb stick, bending the elbows. Rise into up dog as you breathe in, press back into down dog as you exhale. We'll stay for a few breaths. From here, gazing between your hands, as you draw the breath in, walk forward and lift into the half bend. Exhale, fold forward. And let's rise up. Lowering your arms, coming back into mountain. Now a Warrior Two sequence. Extend the arms up as you draw the breath in. Exhale and fold forward. Rise into half bend and step back into down dog. Raise the left leg up as you breathe in. Draw the knee into the chest and step between the hands. Prepare for high lunge. Rise into your high lunge. From the high lunge, straighten the left leg, pivot the right heel, turn, open the arms apart, and then bend the left knee to move into Warrior Two. Straighten your left leg and extend the left arm up. As you exhale, extend the arms apart and begin to reach, lengthening. As you inhale, lower the left arm and take the right arm up and over so it comes next to your ear. Extend the arms apart and rise up as you breathe in. Exhale and extend. Inhale, the arm is up and over. Exhale, extend. Inhale, up. And from here we'll come into our triangle by extending the right arm up and turning our gaze toward the sky. The triangle. Let's lower the right arm, bend the left knee, move into reverse warrior, and prepare for extended side angle. You can place your forearm against your thigh as you take the right arm up and over. Keeping the left knee bent, rise into reverse warrior, and move back into extended side angle. Continuing once more, and this time we'll remain. Take your right hand, bring it to the floor, and step back into your downward facing dog. Stay for a moment as we prepare for the sequence on the other side. Raise the right leg up as you breathe in. Exhale, draw the knee into your chest, stepping between your hands and rising into the high lunge. Straighten the right leg, pivot the left heel, open and bend the right knee into Warrior Two. Straighten the right leg, extend the right arm up as you breathe in. As you exhale, reach apart, lengthen. Lowering the right arm, the left arm up and over. Feel the side body lengthen. Extend away, rise up, and let's repeat. On the next cycle, we'll come into our triangle and remain for a few breaths. Extend the left arm up and stay. Stillness and ease. Enjoyment, alignment. Lowering the left arm, bend the right knee, reverse warrior, and prepare for extended side angle. Rise up out of it, and move back in. On the next cycle, we'll stay. Lowering the left hand down, step back into your down dog. Come down onto your knees and we'll sit back into our child's pose. And release once more. Again, come back and notice, do you feel less stiffness in your body as we come into this shape compared to how it felt before? Let's come up, we'll cross the ankles and sit on the mat, starting with the legs crossed in the easy pose, Sukhasana. I'm all wired up. From here, let's extend both of the legs forward, and we come into a shape called staff pose, Dandasana. You can take your hands and pull the flesh of your bottom back to expose your sits bones. And here, what we're looking for is the vertical spine. Bend your knees if you need to straighten your spine. And from here, we'll bend the left knee. I see something going on out there in my backyard, not sure what it is. I'll find out later. So the left leg the right leg is extended. Draw your arms up. Fold as you exhale. And rise up. Exhale and fold. Looks like my neighbor is fixing their picket fence. On the next cycle, we'll stay in the shape called Janu Sirsasana. Here, the important thing is that we're releasing in the hamstrings in this extended leg, your right leg. And we want to try to tilt our tail toward the back wall, creating a hinge in the hip joint, and not creating any what I'll call stretching sensation in the lower back. We want to try to straighten the back and lengthen the spine as we stay. Let's rise up, lower the arms to your sides, straighten the spine, and we'll switch sides. Extend the arms up as you draw the breath in. Lengthen the spine as you fold. And rise up. And lengthen. Moving smoothly, slowly, gracefully, enjoying, and finally staying. Notice how your breath is moving. Smoothly with the breath. And let's rise up, lowering the arms, and we'll extend both legs forward. Back into the staff pose. Bend your knees, place your feet on the floor. See if you can come up into like a coffee table shape. And as you exhale, you can either sit or see if you can swing through into pike. Let's repeat. Once more. This time we'll sit and bring our feet together, putting the fingers around the toes, letting the knees open, and straightening the spine. As you stay here, you can remain as you are,
Or if you can hinge at your hips so you're not bending the spine, we can very slowly hinge and come forward a bit. Only do this if it feels comfortable for you and you're not pulling or forcing yourself. We're simply trying to create a release in the inner thighs here. The spine straight, hinging at the hip joints. Let's come back up and we'll prepare for our seated twist. Extend your legs forward into staff pose. Bend the left knee. Draw the heel in towards you. Straighten your spine. Cross the leg. Again, straighten the spine. Leave the other one extended or choose to bend your knee if you prefer. And we'll begin to turn towards your left. Either with the right hand on the outer thigh, as I have it here, or you can cross your elbow if that's comfortable for you, looking over your shoulder. And here we churn the navel center, as we did in our previous twist in the revolved triangle, drawing the navel in and turning it in the direction of your turn. Enjoyment, stillness, ease, alignment. Unwinding yourself, move back into staff pose, extending the legs. Now the other side. Bend the right knee, straighten your spine, cross. Either leave the other one extended or bend the knee if you prefer. Begin to turn to your right, bringing the right arm behind, and either continuing with the hand on the outer thigh or possibly crossing your elbow, turning your head to look over your shoulder, and again churning the navel center. Let's unwind and move back into staff pose. Straighten your spine. And let's prepare to come onto our backs for bridge. Rest on your back. Rest your head back. Bend your knees. Draw your heels in towards your bottom. Feet are apart, hip distance apart. And let's move into our bridge as we breathe in. Lift the hips up and swing the arms up and back behind you. And as you exhale, slowly roll down your spine, touching one vertebra at a time, smoothly rolling down, bringing our arms to our sides, and repeat the motion. Rolling down the spine as best you can. And here what we can observe is whether there's a part of the spine that is not cooperating, is not rolling down. And what we want to try to do is to figure out how to roll down, how to release a kind of stuck feeling along your spine, maybe in just one part of it. And which part is it? If you have it, where is it in you? And finding out how to release it. Let's come down, leave our arms on the floor, and we'll rise again into bridge with our arms at our sides. Externally rotate your arms and see if you can link your fingers underneath you. Breathe deeply into the chest. Let's release it and come back down. Very good. Extend your legs up. Take your hands on your inner thighs. Flex your legs, and as you breathe in, open the legs apart, and then squeeze them back together as you exhale. So use the hands
against your inner thighs, pressing just enough to feel a little bit of resistance. Once more. Now we'll take the hands behind the thighs. You can hold your legs to help yourself to be in a kind of reclined staff pose, the staff pose like the letter L, as I described earlier. Or you can also choose to bring the hands down. But if you feel your legs coming forward, leave the support there. We want to bring the work into the navel center here. So as you exhale, press your belly button down toward the floor. And as you do that, press your heels toward the sky. Let's bend the knees, hug them into your chest. And we'll come into a twist, bringing the knees to the right, turning the head to the left. Exhaling, drawing the navel in and twisting it toward the sky. From here, we'll move to the other side, slowly, up and over. And let yourself release here. Let's come back, hug the knees into the chest, and tuck. See if you can touch your forehead towards your knees. Release it. Stretch the legs out. Squeeze your legs together. Reach the arms over your head. And take a few wiggles and lengthen your spine. Breathe deeply. Make the spine feel as long as you can make it. And we'll prepare for Shavasana. The legs can come apart a bit. Arms at our sides. And close your eyes and relax. This is our chance to spend a little bit of time to completely let go. And for each of us, it might be a little bit different, but typically it can be 5 to 7 minutes or so, but we'll stay here. And if I happen to come up before you, you can continue here. There's some point where as we relax and let go in the shape, feeling the openness in the body, enjoying it, enjoying that feeling, letting go with each exhale. And at some point we move almost to the edge of sleep, but not sleep. Almost to the edge of it. And if we're attentive with this, just as a witness, what we want to experience is just this one instant where all of a sudden the mind is empty. But not asleep. Still totally conscious, but empty. That's the direction that we want to head in here. And for some of us, we might experience that. For some of us, we need to keep practicing the Shavasana daily or with every practice until finally we learn how to experience it. And this state of mind is called turiya. It's between awake and dreamless sleep In dreamless sleep, where you could say not experiencing. In dreams, we experience the dream. In dreamless sleep, we are not experiencing. In between awake and dreamless sleep is turiya. And this is fundamentally the state of samadhi, where there are no more questions, there's no more roaming in the mind. There is just complete witness. Let's begin to wiggle the fingers and toes around. And deepen the breath. Wiggle your hips around, your shoulders. Turn your head side to side gently. And from here we're going to very slowly rise up. Take your time. And come back into the seated position that we started in. Close your eyes for a moment and let's come back to that balanced breath that we began with, the complete exhale, the slow inhale, and the slow exhale. I'd like to practice with you the breathing exercise called viloma. Viloma translates as against the grain. You could think of the grain like a petting a dog. When you move your hand along the grain of the hairs, it feels smooth. If you move it the opposite way, it's against. Or maybe if you're having your hand on a piece of wood. And what we'll be doing here is we're going to continue with this long inhale. But then as we exhale, we'll break it up into two parts. So we'll go halfway out and then suspend it for a moment. And then all the way out and we'll suspend it again for a moment. And then we'll continue with the breath in. We'll do this for maybe 5 cycles, and then we'll try it with 3 parts on the